The Campi Flegrei supervolcano keeps the population of Naples on edge. In the USA, millions of Houston residents have been without power for several weeks. Iran has faced events not seen here for the last 200 years. Europe has been hit by a cascade of abnormal natural disasters. Passengers on the London-Singapore flight experienced horror and panic when the plane began to plummet rapidly. For more details on the climate disasters that occurred on the planet over the past week, watch this episode. USA. On the night of May 17th, a series of deadly thunderstorms with wind speeds 98 miles per hour and tornadoes swept through Texas.
Your neighbor's street? Ah! Oh my God!
7 people died in the city of Houston and Harris County. These storms left a massive trail of destruction. Windows of hotels and office buildings in the city center were shattered. Streets were littered with broken glass. Trees and power lines were downed, and some houses had their walls torn off. Almost 1 million homes and businesses were left without electricity. Most traffic lights in Houston are not working. The storms and power outages led to the spillage of domestic wastewater in 3 districts of the city. Local authorities reported that due to severe damage, restoring power could take several weeks. People cannot use air conditioners and other electrical appliances, while immediately after the storm, the affected regions were hit by intense unseasonal heat and high humidity. Preliminary expert estimates put the economic damage from the destructive catastrophe at a staggering $7 billion. Volcanoes. On May 16th, the Conception volcano on Ometepe Island in Nicaragua erupted. The explosion was accompanied by gas emissions, and an ash column rose to a height of 1.2 miles. The municipality of Moyogalpa was the most affected. A layer of ash up to 0.04 inches thick covered streets, houses, and vehicles. The last similar activity with gas and ash emissions at Conception volcano occurred in 2010. After a series of eruptions, Indonesian authorities raised the threat level for the IBU volcano in North Maluku province to the highest level. Residents and tourists are advised to stay at least 4.3 miles away from the volcano's crater. On May 17th, the Semeru volcano in East Java province, Indonesia, erupted 5 times, spewing columns of volcanic ash. Authorities urged people to stay away from the danger zone around the crater to avoid harm from hot steam clouds, lava flows, and lahars. Campi Flegrei. A new seismic swarm has begun in the area of the Campi Flegrei supervolcano in Italy. The local earthquake monitoring network recorded around 150 tremors, the strongest being a magnitude 4.4 shock at a depth of 1.6 miles. This was the strongest earthquake in the region in the last 40 years. Thousands of people, frightened, ran out into the streets. Many decided not to return to their homes due to the continuing tremors and have been spending the second night outside in tents and their cars. Some buildings were damaged, and some of them were deemed uninhabitable, leading to the relocation of at least 46 families. Despite the urgency of the situation, the evacuation plan is still being prepared. Chile. This May might become the coldest in Chile's recorded history. Since May 7th, the country has experienced the longest streak of days with extremely low temperatures. A rare May snowfall covered cities across the country, causing serious consequences. Chaos on the roads, the cancellation of classes in educational institutions, and massive power outages due to increased demand. On May 16th, Santiago was even colder than it usually is in the middle of winter. The temperature in the capital dropped below 0, while in July, during the Southern Hemisphere's winter, the average minimum temperature is 37.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Korea. On May 16th, more than 15.8 inches of snow fell in Gangwon Province, Korea. This is an unprecedented event for the country in mid-May. Russia. A severe storm with rain and hail hit Novosibirsk on May 20th, literally flooding most of the city's streets. The bad weather struck so suddenly and powerfully that people outside had to urgently seek shelter and cling to the walls of buildings and anything they could grab. The hail fell in a solid wall. The storm raged for no more than half an hour. However, that was enough to cause many problems for the Siberians. Cars were flooded, roofs were torn off houses, trees were uprooted. In some places, powerful water flows eroded the ground, causing concrete fences to collapse. Iran. Extreme rains continue in Iran. In the city of Mashhad on May 15th, 1.5 months worth of rainfall fell in just 40 minutes. This caused a sudden destructive flood. Buildings were inundated with water up to 4.9 to 6.6 feet high. Everything in the houses was floating, even refrigerators. Traffic jams caused by the rains slowed down the work of rescue services. Some areas of the city experienced power outages. 8 people died as a result of the flood, including a mother and her 4 children who drowned after being trapped in their own home. On May 18th, Mashhad was hit again by heavy rain with hail up to 3.9 inches in size. The hail broke tree branches, shattered windows, and damaged car bodies. The rains in Mashhad in May have already been called unprecedented in the past 200 years. Europe. A cascade of abnormal natural disasters has hit European countries. Since May 15th, prolonged hailstorms have been tormenting most of France. Thousands of hectares of vineyards were destroyed by hail, causing damage to production in some areas, with up to 100% of the future harvest lost. On May 16th, a state of heightened danger was declared in the Lower Rhine department in northeastern France due to rain and floods. Traffic on highways was blocked. On May 20th, a hailstorm hit the city of Dijon, resulting in streets being filled with rivers of hail. In Germany, the situation was no better. A massive amount of rain that fell on the night of May 17th to 18 caused floods and landslides. In some areas, rescuers worked around the clock, trying to evacuate residents from flooded homes and clear roads of debris and mud. The flood caused widespread power outages and train cancellations. In the federal state of Saarland, almost 1.5 months worth of rainfall fell in one day. In Ottweiler, dams broke, and the town was completely submerged. On the same day, a storm with heavy rain and hail passed through Poland.
Oh God.
The city of Gniezno was at the epicenter. In just a few minutes, the streets were covered with a layer of hail. The storm wind tore off roofs of buildings. The storm drains could not cope with the massive amount of water. The day before, in the Lublin Voivodeship, hail destroyed agricultural crops. According to the regional administration, the losses are total. Black currants, strawberries, and raspberries looked as if they had been cut with a sharp instrument. In the Netherlands, there was also severe flooding on May 20th. Many streets in the cities were flooded, forcing people to leave their homes. In the municipality of Achtkarspelen, a nursing home had to be evacuated. In the village of Buitenpost, so much rain and hail fell that they began to flood buildings through the drainage system. In Belgium, the municipality of Vuren experienced the worst flooding in its history on May 18th. Turbulence. Passengers on the London-Singapore flight experienced horror and panic when the plane encountered sudden turbulence. The aircraft sharply descended almost 6,562 feet in just 3 minutes. According to one passenger, everyone who was sitting and not wearing seatbelts was immediately thrown to the ceiling. Many passengers hit their heads on the overhead compartments. The crew managed to make an emergency landing at Bangkok Airport. Of the 229 people on board, 104 were injured, with 6 in critical condition, mainly with head injuries. One passenger died during the incident, reportedly from a heart attack. More than a year ago, at the Global Crisis, There is a Way Out forum. It was warned that such phenomena, where air pockets form for no apparent reason, would become more frequent, especially at altitudes of 26,247 feet and higher, where most airliners fly. Planes will literally fall into air pockets, leading to serious disasters and human casualties. And this is already happening right now. But soon, there will be even more air pockets, and they will reach the ground. Flying in such conditions will be impossible. This is not the only forecast made at the Global Crisis series of forums about the increase in climate cataclysms in the coming years. Events are unfolding in line with these predictions. But the main thing is that the forums have outlined specific steps that need to be taken to avoid a tragic end for humanity. We have lost a lot of time, but we still have a chance to take advantage of it. Whether we succeed depends on the actions of each of us.